Now that we've finished the first sidewall string, we're going to use the same exact process for the other sidewall string, so that you have two identical sidewall strings. You're going to go through the same exact holes so they match up. Again, you don't have to use the holes that we used, and each stick is going to be different in terms of the holes that they provide, but you want to just test it out and see what works best for you. Now we're going to take another string that we're going to use in place of what you might use when you might use leathers in the center of the pocket, and we're going to fold that string in half. Once we get it folded in half, we're going to weave it through the back of the first hole and then down through and pull it tight. Again, you can use leathers for this style, but we chose to use these stringing pockets. Sometimes it makes it give you a really good feel of the center TXP pocket strings if you use these strings on the side of the pockets. So now we're going to weave it down through the hole on the right side, the small hole. And actually, we could utilize the same technique that we did for the pocket strings to weave it through and back. But this time, we're actually just going to weave it through, and then we're going to tie a knot to keep it tight. Same technique that we used on the sidewall string. So now the head looks like this, and we're going to do the same exact technique for the string on the opposite side. Now we have both pocket strings in place, and we're ready to start stringing the gut of the stick. Again, the TXP pocket in the middle, the two string pocket strings on the outsides, all weaved through and tightened, and our sidewall strings are in place as well. So we're ready to go for our next step of the pocket. Okay, now we're ready to actually string the gut of the stick. We're going to string our first string through the third small side hole on the Amonte head, and we're going to loop it through the second middle string, which would be your leather if you were using leathers. See how you looped it right through there? So it's going to be an additional, similar to the top string. Once you've done that, you're going to go behind, and you can see we're using the back of the head. You're going to go behind the pocket strings, and you're going to loop it in front and down the back. You can see she's going down the back. And now we're going to pull it tight. One thing that you have to be concerned with when you're stringing the gut is that you can only use a maximum of 8 loops when you go through the head of the stick. So similar to this stick right here, you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's your maximum. Depending on what type of head you're using, it might be less, but that's the maximum that you can use. So now we're back, and we're doing the same thing on the outer pocket strings, where we weave them down the back. Again, you can space it the way you like it. If you like your pocket to be a little bit wider on the top and smaller on the bottom. That's totally personal preference, but you want to make sure that you do it with a decent amount of tension, because your pocket's always going to stretch out. Now we're to about this point, and one tip that we suggest is that you simultaneously string both sides of the head. So we're going to move on, we're going to leave our string where it is, we're going to move on to the opposite side of the head and do the same exact technique that we just used. This will allow for the center TXP pocket strings not to get pulled on either direction. It'll keep the pocket nice and even if you simultaneously string both sides of the head. Same thing, you're going to come through the back and you're going to weave it down and around. Don't want to create a knot like that. You just want to create a little loop, go down and around. Make sure that the head matches on the right side just as you did on the left side. Try to create the spacing pretty similar, and that's another reason for doing it simultaneous. To the left side of the head. Again, same thing, going to wrap it through and then down the back. Again, keep it in mind, you've got eight opportunities to do this, so you want to make sure you space it out in the way that you would like. Okay, now we're going to continue with the gut on the left side. Again, same thing. Once you get this technique down, it becomes pretty easy. Just loop it around the back and down and through. And it's just all about your spacing, taking your time, making sure you get it where you want to get it so that you can create a pocket potentially at the top of the stick. When you're stringing, it might take you, a couple times to get it right, but the more you practice, the better you'll get. Often you can use another head that you like, or maybe a friend has, as a template of how you want to space your center strings, the gut of the head. Again, we're going to use this same technique where we're simultaneously stringing one side, and then we're going to repeat that same spacing and same technique on the opposite side of the head. Again, keeping in mind you have 8 opportunities to weave back and through to make it legal.